Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavana Dham. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Dandavat Pranam, all the Vaishnavas. Okay, so we will begin with Mangalacarana, that is the auspicious invocation, calling for the presence, the mercy, the grace, the sidelong glances of our beloved Gurudev, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, all of our Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaura Hari, going all the way back to the original Guru, who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem. Who's his Guru of Prem? There you go. Pumanika got it in advance. So, Vrishabhanunandini Srimati Radha Thakurani Radhikar Guru Prem Ami Shishya Nata. She is my Guru of Prem and I'm simply her dancing pupil. Krishna says about Srimati Radhika. So, we're going to call for their mercy and grace in the form of Mangalacharan, which is present within this beautiful bhajan treasure trove, Shri Gaudiya Giti Guccha, on page 1, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. If you do not have this, then you may. It looks like Jiva Pavana Prabhu has posted part of Sri Shikshashtakam from Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. You may go to Jiva Pavana Prabhu's most recent post. He's going to post again, and there you will find the Mangalacharanam. Dandavat Pranam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shri Mad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanitti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Pada Abjidataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नम ओं विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशवयुक्ति नामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानांच पालिने जीवदुःखे सदार्ताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाध्य श्री रूपानुगभक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनकारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भर सम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कार्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियस्तु नः वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निनिर्वापनम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दम्बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम् Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva Kevalam, Kalo nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyatha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Dandava Pranam all Vaishnavas. Sudevi really wanted to refresh the Shringar of Thakurji, but she was unable to do so today because we had a emergency dental procedure which needed to be done, and so there was an opening. We took it, so tomorrow they will be refreshed. Also, before we begin, and you have to forgive me for this, but I can't not bring it up. So today I received the news that someone that I grew up with, who was a member of the community in Los Angeles and who was the son of the then temple president, he was murdered. And his name was Lokapala, and he happened to be murdered by another person who went to Gurukul as well. So I would like to pray for his spiritual journey and his spiritual benefit. He was considerably older than me, so I wasn't close to him, but he was always a hard worker and a very nice person, very friendly, and so I would like to pray for him. Also, our friend in Mumbai, her name is Swastika. She's the wife of Amarendra Prabhu, that many of you may know from the lectures. He gives amazing Harikatha. And many members of her family have passed away recently. In 48 hours, she lost her uncle and two of her cousins, means two of her uncle's children. One was 28 years old, one was 40 years old, the other was 57 years old. We already mentioned Sunil Prabhu, and then she just sent another one, just left, and then a couple hours later she said another one left. And so, let me see what their names are. Yes, 42, 28, and 57. And I'm just trying to see their names. Okay, I can't find their names that quickly here. But anyhow, if we can send prayers to her and her family for their benefit, and also especially for the benefit of those who have departed, that they may become more and more enthused and inspired on the path of devotion to Krishna. That would be very kind. Okay. And other news, I believe today, the Vrindavan calendar, we have a specific calendar for Vrindavan, and that has not yet come out for this year. And so there's a little bit of a divide, because it just ended a few days ago, and it has not come out yet for this year. So I believe today we are observing the disappearance of Adharam Thakur. So we will read a little bit about him as well. Okay. So, also send prayers for our friend Shashank Prabhu's family. They lost 3, and he said many people in their community are very, very ill. He said about 40% of the households of the apartments in this massive society complex have patients who are COVID positive, and many are also leaving this world. in his own family right now there are 3 who are in critical condition, and so if we can offer prayers, send prayers for their spiritual benefit as well, that would be very kind. You may know Shashank Prabhu, at least he's the devotee who's been publishing all of these classes on YouTube. So please offer prayers for his family and family members. Okay, so we're going to now call for the mercy of Shri Gurudev, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Keval Bhakati Sadma. Not Shishan, Shashank. Shashank. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Keval Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma, Keval Bhakati Sadma. Bandhu mui Savadhano mate, bandhu mui savadhano mate, bandhu mui savadhano mate, bandhu mui savadhano Chaharo prasade bhai, e bhavato riyaja. Jaharo prasade bhai, e bhavato riyaja. Krishna prapti hoy jaha Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. Guru mukha padmo vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo. Guru mukha padmo vakyo chitte te koriya aikyo. Arna kori ho mane asha, arna kori ho mane asha, arna kori ho mane asha, arna kori ho mane asha. Shri Guru Charane rati, aise uttamagati. Shri Guru Charane rati, aise uttamagati. Jai prasade pure sarva आशा, जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा. आशा जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चकुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जाहा होइते अविद्या विनाश जते प्रेम भक्ति जाहा होइते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदे गाय जाहारो चोरितो वेदे गाय जाहारो चोरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवन ओ हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया हा हा प्रभु करो दया देह मोरे पद छाया तुआ पदे लइनु शरण तुआ पदे लइनु शरण एबे जाश घुषु त्रिभुवन एबे जाश घुषु त्रिभुवन गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय प्रभुपाद 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 गुरु परंपरा 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 श्रील गुरुदेव की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय रूपानुग गौरीय गुरु वर्ग की जय श्री गुरु परंपरा की जय Sudevi, can you make it that the fan doesn't blow directly on me? Take it. Thank you. Now we will call for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakur by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, page 40. And if you don't have Shri Gauriya Giti Gucha, then you may refer to Jiva Pavana Prabhu's posts. There you will find the bhajans along with the translations and frequently followed by beautiful commentaries from our acharyas. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Sambandha janiya bhajite bhajite abhimano hadura. Sambandha janiya bhajite bhajite abhimano hadura. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Koro Vaishnava Thakura. Ami to Vaishnava e buddhi hoile ammani na hoboyami. Ami to Vaishnava e buddhi hoile ammani na hoboyami. Pratishtha shayasi hridoyo dushive. Pratishtha shayasi hridoyo dushive hoibo nirayogami. Hoibo nirayogami. Tomaro kinkaro apane janibo guruya bhimano tyaji. Tomaro kinkaro apane janibo guruya bhimano tyaji. Tomaro yujishta pada jala renu. Tomaro yujishta pada jala renu sada nishkapate bhaji. Sada nishkapate bhaji. Nije shrestha jani uchishtha didane hobeyo bhimano bharo. Nije shrestha jani uchishtha didane hobeyo bhimano bharo. Tai shishya tava thakiya sarvada. Tai shishya tava thakiya sarvada naloibo pujakaro. Naloibo pujakaro. Omani manodo hoile kirtane adhikaro dive tumi. Omani manodo hoile kirtane adhikaro dive tumi. Tomaro charane nishkapate ami. Tomaro charane nishkapate ami. Kandiyalu tibo bhumi. Kandiyalu tibo bhumi. Kripa Thakura, Kripa Kuru Vaishnava Thakura, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya 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 Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro, Prabhu Kripa Koro, More Doya Koro. All Vaishnava Thakurs ki Jai. Once again, when we are calling out to these kinds of personalities, we must understand that this does not refer to just anyone who takes the or claims the position of Vaishnava. Actually, these people don't claim the position of Vaishnava, as you can tell by this bhajan here. Aham ito Vaishnava e buddhi hoile amani na havo ami. That if I have this idea that I am a Vaishnava, then I will never become humble. So we can only really develop these qualities that we are praying for if we're praying to those personalities who have those qualities. That deep humility. And who has a deep humility? To the degree that one is, you can say, a lover of God. To the degree that one has awakened prema, to that degree they will be humble. So only those who actually are truly premi bhaktas are truly humble. And so we're petitioning those kinds of personalities, our Guru Varga, the pure Vaishnavas, for help to be able to come out of our current condition of egotism, of lust, anger, greed, madness, envy, pride, all kinds of anarthas, material desires, everything. And to come to a position like they have, where we actually will develop true humility under their guidance, because they are truly humble. And with that true humility, then we can always properly chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So, of course, we understand that there are so many different personalities that might be included within the category of Vaishnava. As Srila Rupa Goswami says in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshashti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham shushrusaya bhajana vigyamananyamanya nindadishunyam hridamipsita sangalabhya. So he's talking about 3 different kinds of, or levels of Vaishnavas. And it is not offensive to see that there are levels of Vaishnavas. Whoever says that is not following Shastra. There are levels of Vaishnavas, and if we don't discriminate properly, then we can become guilty of offense. So the first one referred to is the Kanishta Vaishnava. They have chanted the holy name of the Lord at least once. And they have faith in Gurudev, faith in Krishna. But still their bhakti is quite weak. So they don't really have nishta yet, therefore they're called Kanishta. But another thing is they don't know how to honor Vaishnavas properly. So for that kind of personality, then we offer pranam to them within our mind. Manasadriyeta. It's not that we give equal respect to everyone. For the Madhyam Vaishnava, Dikshashti Chet, who has received Diksha, means who is actually embarked on the spiritual path and is following properly, who's endeavoring toward perfection, trying to develop, awaken their relationship with Krishna, and to also give up all anarthas, who's embarking on the path of bhajan. That means doing all of those activities, positive activities, favorable for bhakti. Then, pranati bhish. Because they are doing bhajan, we offer our dandavat pranam. And shushrusaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya nindadi shunyam pridam ipsita sangalabdhya. For the Uttama Vaishnava, the topmost Vaishnava, who has no tendency to criticize others, who is free from envy, completely free from envy, ninda adi shunyam, they're without any of these inebrities, who are always absorbed and who have completely surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, within our heart, within our body, within our mind, with everything that we have at our disposal, we should offer ourselves at their lotus feet and surrender to them. Of different respect according to different depths of devotion. And then our bhakti will be properly placed. Our progression will be properly guided. If we give the same honor and respect, our Gurudev said, to a third-class bogus person that we should give to the Uttama Vaishnava, then we will actually be making an offense to that Uttama Vaishnava because we have placed them on the same level. So we should understand to some degree, according to the depths of one's level of devotion and exclusivity to Guru Gauranga, Radha and Krishna, we can see to some extent. Then we give honor appropriately. So when you're singing these bhajans, when I say all Vaishnava Thakurs, I'm referring to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, our Srila Gurudev, who is also our Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. Those kinds of personalities, those persons who are exclusively devoted, Uttama Vaishnavas you can say, or even eternal associates of the Lord. In that case, they can grant us all of these things because they are free from those inebrities. One who is full of those inebrities, how can they remove them from you? One who is full from lust, how can they remove lust from you? One who has no true humility, how can they awaken true humility in you? Only someone who possesses something. Or you can look on the other side, who doesn't possess something. Who doesn't have lust can make it that you don't have lust. Who has love and affection for Krishna can make it that you have love and affection for Krishna. In other words, the pure devotee, the pure Vaishnava. So when we are calling out in these particular bhajans, it's not just for your friend next door. This is for great personalities that we see here. Now we're going to call for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami. Page 47, Young Kali Rupa Sarira na Dharata by Sri Madhava Das. Young Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Tandraja Prema Mahanidhi Putharika Tandraja Prema Mahanidhi Putharika Ona Kapata Ubharata Ona Kapata Ubharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Virakiro Hangsano Pano Vidhayano Virakiro Hangsano Pano Vidhayano Ona Pritha Karipayata Ona Pritha Karipayata Ko Savatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana Ko Savatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana Ko Samograntha Virachita Ko Samograntha Virachita Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Jabapitu Vano Phulo Phalato Nana Vidho Jabapitu Vano Phulo Phalato Nana Vidho Manoraji Arundo Manoraji Arundo So Madhukarubinu Parakono Janato So Madhukarubinu Parakono Janato Vidyomano Paribandha Vidyomano Paribandha Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Kali Rupa Sharira Dharata Ko Janato Mathura Vrindavana Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharata Jakaro Charana Prasade Sakala Jano Jakaro Charana Prasade Sakala Jano Dai Gawai Sukha Pavato Dai Gawai Sukha Pavato Charana Kamale Sharanagato Madho Charana Kamale Sharanagato Madho Tava Mahima Uranagato Tava Mahima Uralagato Yang Kali Rupa Shariram Nadharato Yang Kali Rupa Shariram Nadharato Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Tanbraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika Kona Kapata Bharato Kona Kapata Bharato Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharato Yang Kali Rupa Sharira Nadharato Rupa Goswami Prabhu Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Prabhu Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Prabhu 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 Rupa Goswami Prabhu Hai 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 Srila Rupa Goswami Pada Ki Jai Shri Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Ruparanga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. And now we have come to the point of calling out for the mercy and grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Jai Jai Nityananda Rohini Kumar by Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, page 64. In the tune of Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. There's Isha Thakurani. She's always on time for this one. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar Jaya Jaya Nityananda Rohini Kumar Patita Udharo Lagi Dubahu Patita Udharo Lagi Dubahu Pasaro Bado Bado Madhurama Madhurayadho Bolo Gada Gada Madhurama Dhurayadho Bolo Jare dekhe tare preme Hori deo kola Jare dekhe tare preme Hori deo kola Dagama Raye Nirantaro Dagama Raye Nirantaro Sonaro Kamalle Jeno Iraye Brahmara Sonaro Kamale Jeno Iraye Brahmara Doyaro Thakuro Nitai Paradukha Jane Doyaro Thakuro Nitai Paradukha Jane Hari Name Mala Ganthi Dilo Jago Jane Hari Name Mala Ganthi Dilo Jago Jane Papi Pashandi Jato Korilo Dolano Papi Pashandi Jato Korilo Dolano Dino Hino Jane Koila Prema Vitorano Dino Hino Jane Koila Prema Vitorano Ahare Gauranga Boli पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। So today we will be beginning Caitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura. I can't hear the ulus, but I know they're there. And so I would like to pray for the mercy of Sachinandan Gaura Hari with the beautiful bhajan Manade Kahan Na Gaura Katha, page 72 by Srila Narahari Sarkar. There we go. Got the ulus going. We're entering Navadvip, so we have to have the ulus. I don't know yet, but you need the commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada for the link for Caitanya Bhagavat. Manare Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Gaurero naam amiyaro dham Gaurero naam amiyaro dham Piriti murati data Kahana Gaura Katha Gaurero naam amiyaro dham Piriti murati data Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Shayane Gaura Sapane Gaura Gaura Nayane Adharam Shayane Gaura Sapane Gaura Gaura Nayane Adharam Jivane Gaura Marane Gaura Jivane Gaura Marane Gaura Gaura Gallaro Haram Gaura Gallaro Haram Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Man re Kahana Gaura Katha Yaro Majhare Gorang Rakhiye Virale Bashiyaro Yaro Majhare Gorang Rakhiye Virale Bashiyaro Manero sadhete se rupa chare re Manero sadhete se rupa chare re Nayane nayane kobo Nayane nayane kobo Man re নাবাঞ্চি পরাণে গৌরা করেছি সারো গৌরা বলিয়া যাও কো জীবন গৌরা বলিয়া যাও কো জীবন কিছু না চাহিব কিছু না চাহিব মন রে কহনা গৌর কথা মন রে কহনা যাহারো হিয়ায় জাগে গৌর চবদ গৌর সম্পদ যাহারো হিয়ায় জাগে নরহরি দাস তার দাসের দাস নরহরি দাস তার দাসে দাস চরণে শরণ মাগে চরণে শরণ মাগে মনে রে কহনা গৌর কথা মনে রে Karo dham piriti murati data kahana gora katha manre Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Gaura He Gaura He Gaura He प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम शचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय. Also, because we're going to begin Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, I feel it is essential to call on all of, well, directly or indirectly, on all of the associates of Mahaprabhu, begging for their mercy. By their mercy, one can attain the mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Without Nityananda Prabhu, without our 6 Goswamis, without all of these divine personalities, we won't be able to attain his mercy. Sri Caitanya Bhagavat is technically not different from Sri Caitanya himself. So there's the book Bhagavat, the person Bhagavat, but the book is the manifestation of the person. In other words, it is not a book. It is that personality in written form or sound form. And so before we enter into Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, we must pray to those personalities who can reveal or manifest Sri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Caitanya Mahāprabhu within our hearts. So, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Koro More. And I would like also if you can add the 2 extra verses, Daya Koro Prabhupada Shri Daya Das and Daya Koro Guru Deva Patita Pavan. And that's page 96 by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More. Shri Krishna Chaitanya দয়ালু জগত সংসারে তোমা বিনা কে দয়ালু জগত সংসারে পতিত পাবন হেতু তব অবতারো পতিত পাবন হেতু তব অবতারো মো সম্মপিত প্রভু না পাইবে আরো ও সম্মপিত প্রভু না পাইবে আরো আহা প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখী আহা প্রভু নিত্যানন্দ প্রেমানন্দ সুখী কৃপা অবলোকন করো আমি বড় দুঃখী কৃপা অবলোকন করো আমি বড় দুঃখী দয়া করো সীতাপতি অদ্বৈত গোসাই দয়া করো সীতাপতি অদ্বৈত গোসাই তব কৃপা বলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই তব কৃপা বলে পাই চৈতন্য নিতাই হাহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ হাহা স্বরূপ সনাতন রূপ রঘুনাথ ভক্ত যুগ শ্রী জীব প্রভু লোকনাথ ভক্ত যুগ শ্রী জীব প্রভু লোকনাথ দয়া করো শ্রী আচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস দয়া করো শ্রী আচার্য প্রভু শ্রীনিবাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস রামচন্দ্র সঙ্গ মাগে নরোত্তম দাস দয়া করো প্রভুপাদ শ্রীদয়িত দাস দয়া করো প্রভুপাদ শ্রীদয়িত দাস বৈষ্ণবের কৃপা মাগে এ Adhamo Daso Vaishnavero Kripa Mage Adhamo Daso Doya Koro Guru Deva Patita Pavana Doya Koro Guru Deva Patita Pavana Shri Charane Seva Mage Patita Jana Shri Charane Seva Mage Patita Jana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma Bina Te Doyalu Jagata Samsare 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 Kripa Bolo Kanakoro Ami Boro Dukhi Kripa Bolo Kanakoro Ami Boro Dukhi Shachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Shachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Shachinandan Jai Gaura Hari Shachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Saparshada Jaya Gaura Hari Saparshada Jai Gaura Hari Jaya Saparshada Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Saparshada Jai Gaura Hari Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. So that last part, Saparshada Jai Gaura Hari, it's Svaparishar. It is calling out for the mercy of all of his associates, Saparshad and Jai Gaura Hari. Now I believe we've been requested by Devi Dasi Ramya on behalf of her son Satya Govinda to call out to Krishna in the bhajan Shri Madhurashtakam Adharam Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram. Oh, thank you. Yes, as you can, we need kartal players. Good. Well, what page is that? Sorry. Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted it. but we don't have a page number posted yet. Mm-hmm. 293. Thank you, Anjali. By Srimad Vallabhacharya. Adharam Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram Adharam Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Vachanam Madhuram Charitam Madhuram Vasanam Madhuram Valitam Madhuram Vachanam Madhuram Charitam Madhuram Vasanam Madhuram Valitam Madhuram Chalitam Madhuram Bramitam Madhuram Chalitam Madhuram Bramitam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Renu Madhuro Renur Madhura Panir Madhura Padu Madhura Renur Madhuro Renur Madhura Panir Madhura Padu Madhura Nityam Madhuram Sakhyam Madhuram Nityam Madhuram Sakhyam Madhuram Madhuradhipate Akhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipate Rakhilam Madhuram Geetam Madhuram Pitam Madhuram Bhuktam Madhuram Suktam Madhuram Geetam Madhuram Pitam Madhuram Bhuktam Madhuram Suktam Madhuram Gunja Madhura Mala Madhura Yamuna Madhura Vichi Madhura Gunja Madhura Mala Madhura Yamuna Madhura Vichi Madhura Salilam Madhuram Kamalam Madhuram Salilam Madhuram Kamalam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Gopi Madhura Leela Madhura Yuktam Madhuram Bhuktam Madhuram Gopi Madhura Leela Madhura Yuktam Madhuram Bhuktam Madhuram Krishnam Madhuram Shlishtam Madhuram Krishnam Madhuram Shlishtam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Gopa Madhura Gavo Madhura Yashtir Madhura Shrishtir Madhura Gopa Madhura Gavo Madhura Yashtir Madhura Shrishtir Madhura Dalitam Madhuram Phalitam Madhuram Dalitam Madhuram Phalitam Madhuram Madhuradhipater Akhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipater Akhilam Madhuram Adharam Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram Adharam Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram Nayanam Madhuram Hasitam Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Hridayam Madhuram Gamanam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Madhuradhipaterakhilam Madhuram Krishna He 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 Oh Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Oh Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Now we will call to Srimati Radhika for her mercy and sidelong glance in the words of Sri Rai Ramananda. Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Valitam Pankajamiva Mridu Maruta Chalitam. Page 342. Devotees always present for Kalayati Nayanam. Page 342 by Sri Ramananda. Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Mridu Maruta Chalitam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Chalitam Elibhitinam Pravishati Radha Elibhitinam Pravishati Radha Pratipada Samudito Manasi Jabadha Pratipada Samudito Manasi Jabadha Kalayati Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Mridu Maruta Chalitam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Mridu Maruta Chalitam Nindadhati Mridu Mantharo Padam Nindadhati Mantharo Padam Rachayati Kunjaro Gatinmanuvadam Rachayati Kunjaro Gatinmanuvadam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Mridu Maruta Chalitam Kalayati Dishi Dishi Vanitam Pankajani Mridu Maruta Chalitam Janayati Rudra Gajadhita Muditam Kalayati Rudra Gajadhipamuditam Ramananda Rayo Kabidaditam Ramananda Rayo Kabidaditam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Varitam Pankajamiva Mridu Maruta Charitam Kalayati Nayanam Dishi Dishi Varitam Pankajamiva Mridu Maruta Charitam Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Shri Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Vrishabhanunandini Radhe Radhe Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Oh Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Vrishabhanandani Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai Shri Krishna Kanhaya Lal ki Jai Sudevi, Rudra Prabhu hears you singing. Rudra Prabhu hears you singing in the background. So we've come to that special time in the evening. We've come to the topmost of all forms of calling the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Calling, praying to Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Also, we can include prayers for others in that. Not just please engage me, but please engage us. And especially for those persons who are close to losing their life, those who have lost their lives in the last couple of days, friends of ours, people we know, and family members of those we know. We can pray for them as well. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage them in your service. They are also yours. I am yours. Please engage all of us in your loving service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I'm offering my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupa Anuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas, Radhe 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 Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. Thank you. So today, we are beginning Sri Caitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura. Incidentally, his day is coming in just a few days, so we will reserve the full remembrance of him for that day. This is the version with the commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He is the Guru of our Srila Prabhupada, the Guru of our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshar Goswami Maharaj, the Guru of Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, the Guru of Bhakti Daya Madhav Goswami Maharaj, Guru of Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Kumud Shanta Maharaj. So many amazing transcendental divine personalities. And so his commentary is the one which is present within this version of Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, which I'm very excited for. Before going on to Chaitanya Bhagavat, however, today is also the disappearance anniversary of Sri Adharam Thakur. And so, it is imperative that we say something about this divine and transcendental personality. So, we have received something from Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. He spoke about him, about his appearance and disappearance. And we understand that the appearance and disappearance day of Vaishnavas are considered to be non-different, and yet, of course, there is a difference. There is a speciality between them. But the reason they're considered non-different is because both of them, the appearance and the disappearance, create within our heart an acute remembrance of that personality, their pastimes, their mercy, their special gifts. And also we should understand that their appearance and disappearance in this world is transcendental, also, like the Lord's. When the Lord appears and disappears, it's not that he's, in essence, taking birth in a new body and then leaving that body. It's not a material thing. He says, Janma karma chame divyam. My birth, my activities, everything is all transcendental. When any eternal associate of the Lord manifests in this world, from an external perspective, it seems that they take their birth and they leave this world, like we do. However, we should understand that their nature is only made of loving service to the Lord. So everything they do is only transcendental. So our Gurudev has explained, just like you see someone walk past a window, you see that they've appeared and that they've disappeared, but this doesn't mean that they don't exist. They're always transcendentally existing in their eternal relationship with the Lord. We have not yet realized or awakened ours yet. So when we leave, then we say they died, although the soul never dies. But for those divine and transcendental personalities, they are always engaged in their internal service to the Lord. As we read yesterday from Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, they're always witnessing, they're always seeing the divine form of Shyama Sundar. So this is what makes a big difference between them and us, because we are absorbed in so many things of this material world, abhiniveshata, and they are absorbed only in Krishna, subjects of Krishna, his names, forms, qualities, pastimes, and his transcendental and divine associates. So I just wanted to read a little bit about him from Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. By observing such days, the holy days of the appearance and disappearance of the Vaishnavas, all inauspiciousness goes away and all auspiciousness manifests in the heart. So Abhiram Thakur appeared in Kanakul Krishna Nagar. This is in a special place, Krishna Nagar, in Bengal. He possessed great strengths. One of the very unique features about him was that he had an incredible whip named Jai Mangal. He had a whip. Jai Mangal means supremely victorious and auspicious. So anyone who was struck by this whip would be immediately overcome with Krishna Prem. That is a symptom of a very special personality. To just, like this, immediately Krishna Prem would manifest in them. That is by the direct mercy of that divine and transcendental personality. Sometimes we don't understand their behavior. This seems a little avadut. Like when Nityananda Prabhu broke Mahaprabhu's danda in 3 pieces and threw it into the Ganga. At that point in time, no one could understand, why is he doing that? But Mahaprabhu had received a single staff, danda, from Keshav Bharati. So this is technically referring to Ekavad. But Vaishnavas, you see, all of those in the line of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, they receive 3 danda sannyas. What does 3 danda mean? Not only one. It's so many meanings of the 3. Same with your 3 neck beads, 3 strands of neck beads. 3 danda. So there's Bhagavan, or Vishai, there is Ashray, and there is the interaction or the relationship, the love between them. This is one of the meanings. There are so many different meanings, but this essentially acknowledges Bhagavan, his Shaktis, and the relationship between them. So, 3 danda sannyas versus single danda sannyas. There's a big difference. So Abhiram Thakur also is manifesting this avadhut nature. It means difficult to understand. He seems a little interesting that he's using a whip, but that whip, wherever he directed it, whoever it touched, immediately they would receive Krishna Prem. To this day, that whip is preserved in a box at the temple in Kanakul Krishna Nagar, and it is displayed on his disappearance day for public view. Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur visited this place and mentioned it in his commentary to Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. So, once Srinivas Acharya approached Abhiram Thakur to borrow his copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, but found that the script was smudged with Abhiram Thakur's tears. Having heard that there was another copy of the Bhagavat in the possession of Gadadhar Pandit, he went to Jagannath Puri, only to discover that this copy too had met with the same fate because of Gadadhar Pandit's tears falling on that Bhagavatam. Also, everything was smeared. So he returned, Srinivasacharya returned to Abhiram Thakur, who at that time lashed him with his whip? Srinivas Acharya. You've heard of Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda. The Srinivas Acharya is the one who wrote Sri Shad Goswami Ashtakam, Vande Rupa Sanatana, Raghujago Sri Jiva Gopalako, prime disciple of Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami of Radharaman fame. So he lashed him with his whip twice, after which Srinivas Acharya's, just says, after which his wife interrupted, he's just a child, he won't be able to bear so much prem. One whip, two whips. Abhiram Thakur is an eternal associate of the Lord. He is full of Krishna prem. In fact, just by his touch or glance, he could award Krishna prem. We hear in the bhajan by Sri Narottam Das Thakur, Ebaro Kurana Koro Vaishnava Goshai, there it says, Gangara Parasha Hoile Pashtati Pavan, Darshane Pavitra Koro Eto Margun. By taking bath in Ganga, one's sins are removed, but just by having darshan, or receiving the darshan, means that pure devotee will cast their merciful glance your way, or their merciful whip. Immediately, all sins run far away. In this case, not just that, but Krishna prem would awaken. So if by his glance he could give Krishna prem, then why did he use his whip? Maharaj is saying comprehension of such pastimes is beyond our mind and intelligence. It could only be concluded that Vaishnavas have unique ways in which they bestow their grace. So he's praying on behalf of all of us, and so I'm going to read this prayer. I pray at his lotus feet that if even an insignificant drop of his Hari Bhakti manifests in my heart, then my human birth will be successful. What makes our lives successful? One's life is successful when one attains Krishna Bhakti, when one attains the audience of Sri Krishna. Janama Safalatar Krishna Darshana Jar Bhagye Hoy Ache Ekabar. That person's life is successful if by good fortune he has Krishna's darshan just once. So how does one attain the darshan of Krishna? By the mercy of Krishna's pure devotees. So on this day, the disappearance anniversary of Sri Abhiram Thakur, we pray in his lotus feet for even a particle of his mercy, that one day we may attain the darshan of Krishna. Sri Abhiram Thakur ki Jai. And I find that it's very appropriate that before entering into Chaitanya Bhagavat, we have just prayed for the mercy of a Vaishnava who has a whip, because most of us need that kind of strong awakening. If we are just sometimes given some nice pat on the back or some sweet words, then we feel all nice and cozy inside, but this might not wake us up. Srila Gauragovinda Maharaj said we require many thunderbolts of Lord Indra to wake us up. We are so dense. And so sometimes it is the directed even anger of any Vaishnava which wakes us out of our stupor. As Krishna looked at those trees for one moment with anger. What is stopping me from playing with my friends? Hey! Like this. And in that moment, with that directed anger, those trees could no longer hold their form. They crashed to the ground, and those two personalities were liberated. Nalakuber, Manigriva, and they were awarded a transcendental position in Goloka Vrindavan in the forms of the eternal bards, always glorifying Krishna's pastimes in the court of Nanda Baba. Their names are Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. So, before entering into Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, we will pray in the dust of the lotus feet of its author, Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, whose day is coming in a few days, for his mercy, and also the commentator, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that may they bestow their mercy, that we may be able to receive or understand even one particle of what they're endeavoring to give us, because one particle is sufficient to flood the entire universe. Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu appeared with a particular purpose. Rag Marga Bhakti Loke Korite Prachara. Of course, we know he has his internal purposes, but in terms of what he came to give to the world, he wanted to awaken spontaneous love and affection for Krishna, like the Brajbasis have, especially like the Gopis have, especially, what is it? Anarpita charing chirat kurunayavtin nakalo samarpayitum unatojvala rasang swa bhakti shriyam. Especially in the wake of those who are following in the mood of Sri Rupa Goswami here in this world as sadhakas, and as Sri Rupa Manjari in the Siddha form in relationship with Radha and Krishna, serving them always. So, as our Srila Prabhupada said, Mahaprabhu did not make it difficult. He was very clear, made it very simple and easy, and he wanted to bestow this upon everyone in this world. And even if he was holding back, Nityananda Prabhu broke open that dam. Ghare ghare bule prem amiyaraban. Have to mention the name of Nityananda Prabhu before entering into Chaitanya Bhagavat. If we want the mercy of Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, we need to have honor, respect, admiration, adoration, and maybe even a little bit of an obsession for Nityananda Prabhu. Then Vrindavana Dasa Thakura will bestow his mercy on us. So, we can pray to Nityananda Prabhu also and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, because they want to give this mercy. And us, we can all look at ourselves. We should consider ourselves to be the most lowly and the most fallen. And their mercy is for that. Most lowly and most fallen. So with that mood of humility, praying for their mercy and having a hopeful expectation for it. That yes, you have come to bestow this mercy. Namo Mahavadanyaya, you are the most magnanimous. Krishna Prema Pradayate, you are awarding Krishna Prem to everyone. Krishnaya, Krishna Chaitanya, oh Krishna Chaitanya, I'm offering my pranam to you again and again. Please be merciful to me. Oh Nityananda Prabhu, please be merciful to me. I know that if I call out the name of your Gauranga even once, with even one tear in my eye, you said that you will be purchased. So I'm praying in the dust of your lotus feet that may my heart open up. May that stone-like heart crack open just a little bit so that one tear of sincerity can flow and you will give me your mercy. So, Shri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura ki jai, Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Okay. And as we are beginning Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, a very nice devotee disciple of Srila Prabhupada who has been serving him very constantly in Sri Mayapur Dham, Sri Pankajangri Prabhu, the twin brother of Jananivas Prabhu, is having a difficult time in his breathing. He was brought back from Calcutta to Mayapur, and so we don't know which way he's going to go, but I assure you that he would be no more happy, he would only be the most happy if devotees were absorbing their minds, their hearts, their concentration on remembering and hearing the glories of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu. This is the best thing that we can do for him. This is the kirtan that he also is absorbing himself in, and also wants all others to absorb themselves in. So we should pray for his benefit. Jai Shachinandan Gaura Hari ki jai, Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. And also pray to his Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, to always, in any situation, not that he isn't, but that he may always keep him tucked close to his lotus feet. Here, I opened it, and right there was the picture of Srila Prabhupada. So this was translated by a devotee named Bhumipati Das. It's got the Gaudiya Bhashya introduction and commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Wow. Well, it has a life sketch of the author, Sri Vrindavana Dasa Thakura, but we're going to focus exclusively on him in a couple of days, on his day, which is coming soon. So we're going to read the introduction to the Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He wrote this in 1932 in Assam on Ekadashi Day. He presented it. So those who are intelligent, this is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. What a way to begin. Those who are intelligent, immediately everyone's like, I want to be intelligent, should study the concept of served and servant to understand the presence of the Supersoul within the external coverings of this visible world. When the concept of served and servant is absent, the concept of oneness takes the place of the Supersoul. So our Srila Prabhupada just gave us a very strong introduction into what his Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is saying. If we don't have a very clear idea of the served, it means the Lord, and the servant, us, then instead of understanding my position in relation to the Supersoul, I will only see oneness. So the concept of oneness takes place of the Supersoul. The variety of qualities found within the one reality indicate that it is the distinct abode of energies. So the one reality, there's a term for that in Sanskrit, Advai Gyan Paratattva, the supreme, absolute, non-dual, absolute truth. But within that supreme, non-duality, absolute truth, that is the Supreme Lord, there are infinite rasas, infinite varieties and infinite energies. So this is the meaning of sagunam nirgunam tattvam. Nirgun means no mundane qualities, but sagun means all transcendental qualities. So the variety of qualities found within that one supreme reality indicate that it is the distinct abode of energies. Persons who want to contradict this idea and who have the ambition of becoming free from the concepts of the external coverings generally think of the one reality as devoid of all differences. So they've only taken the half nirgunam tattvam, but they have not acknowledged the sagunam tattvam. Those within itself, those it has with things like itself, and those it has with things unlike itself. So he's saying that there are those persons with ambition of becoming free from the mundane world, those who want to be free from the dualities, they have gone toward the undifferentiated aspect. They want to go toward that one reality as devoid of all differences. Persons who are not prepared to impose on the Supersoul the weaknesses of the material thought process describe this reality not as an object of empirical knowledge, but rather as adhokshaja, beyond the perception of material senses. The Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is using, well, it's probably been, the translation has probably been dumbed down from his quality of erudition. He's one of the most brilliant minds of all times. And even his English is so complex. And so it's been brought more into our current dialect, and still it is quite complicated. He's talking in the negative, that persons who are not prepared to impose on the supersoul the weakness of the material thought process describe this reality not as an object of empirical knowledge, but rather as adhokshaja. So he's talking about those with the devotional sentiment who understand that I am a servant and the Lord is the Lord. I am not going to superimpose a mundane idea onto the supersoul. I will understand that he is adhokshaja, or beyond the material conception. Unreasonable people who consider that the variegated manifestations of the spiritual world are the same as the variegated manifestations of matter do not accept devotional service as eternal. So he's saying they're unreasonable. Why is he saying they're unreasonable? Because they're superimposing the mundane ideas onto the transcendental and spiritual, not understanding that it has no capacity to actually go there. It is adhokshaja, beyond the material capacity, beyond the material mind, beyond the material senses, beyond the material ego. And Krishna himself confirms this. My birth, my qualities, my activities are all transcendental. Divyam is the word he uses. So if someone is superimposing material qualities onto the transcendental nature of the Lord, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is calling them unreasonable. Does that make sense? The exchanges within the transcendental realm between Krishna and his servants generate the variety of eternal rasas. So all of these loving exchanges, it's really service manifest in so many different ways. And the reciprocation of that from Krishna, this is what manifests what we know as rasas, or the taste, the flavors of love and affection. But within the material world, these eternal rasas have become the subjects of empirical knowledge. So those who don't have a devotional temperament want to discuss the rasas from an empirical or scholastic perspective. But really it's beyond that. The mundane abomination of triputi vinashta, that is extinguishing the distinction between knowledge, the knower, and the aim of knowledge. The mundane abomination of trying to extinguish the distinction between knowledge, the knower, and the aim of knowledge, attributed by the knowledge-destroying empiricists to the concept of the supersoul, is not approved by the scriptures or by the intelligent followers of the scriptures. It's interesting because we just read from our Srila Prabhupada, and he was very, very heavy on this Mayavad conception, and now we see our Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. We're just about to enter into the pastimes of Sachinandan Gaurahari, of Chaitanya Mahāprabhu, and those with an atheistic temperament or monistic temperament will tend to look at the pastimes of the Lord as something, as like a product of illusion itself, that it is simply Maya, they will say. So that's why Vaishnavas call it Mayavad, not understanding that it is all transcendental, that it is eternal. And so they're superimposing their mundane conception on it, and therefore he says it is unreasonable and abomination to have this conception. It's not approved by the scriptures, and it is not approved by the intelligent followers of the scriptures. So if you're only taking this section of the scriptures and you're throwing this one out, that is accepting the logic of half a hen. I've chosen to accept this and I'm throwing this out without having a full or complete understanding of it. If you see Mahaprabhu's conception, achintya, inconceivable, bheda, abheda, tattva. He's accepting the unique singularity of the absolute truth, the non-difference aspect, but he's also accepting the difference aspect. Because Shastra describes all of it. We also accept that. We accept what Mahaprabhu accepts. We accept what Bhagavatam has given. Vadanti tat tattva vidas. Those who know the truth. Tattvam yaj jnanam advayam. Those very learned, knowledgeable persons will see the absolute truth according to three different perspectives. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti shabdyate. They will understand that there is the impersonal feature. Yes, it is there. And then there's the Paramatma feature. Yes, it is there. And then there's the Bhagavan feature. So there's Nirvan without variety, Nirvan without variety. That is the formless, impersonal aspect. And then there is Bhagavan, full of all transcendental variety. So those who are intelligent followers of the scriptures understand and accept all of that. This is the concept of the absolute truth. If you're cutting half of it, then you're not giving the absolute perspective. You are giving a partial perspective. So we understand from the Vaishnava literatures and from our Guru Varga and from Mahaprabhu, all of these conceptions. There is the Brahm aspect, the Paramatma aspect, and the Bhagavan aspect. And within Bhagavan, of course, infinite variety. There are unlimited transcendental forms, unlimited transcendental pastimes, unlimited transcendental relationships. Everything is there in that Bhagavan aspect as well. And our Guru Varga, our Srila Prabhupada, said the last word in transcendence, Bhagavan. Brahm, Paramatma, Bhagavan. When empiricists, this word empiricists means those who are basically endeavoring to calculate or figure out the absolute divine via their mundane capacity. Through my own power, I'm going to calculate that which is beyond my own power. When they try to ascertain the supersoul, material nature presents them the concept of avyakta, or the unmanifest. That's why we depend on the descending process of mercy. We don't just try to calculate it on our own, by our own material senses. And when studying the undifferentiated concept of pure spirit, in their covered condition, they consider the supersoul a concoction of the material senses. Such currents of thought are prominent among the empiricists, in the same way as such learned scholars as Spinoza, Schopenhauer, and Hegel, in their material methodologies of investigation, converted the supersoul into something devoid of variety. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada was well versed in all schools of thought, all different philosophical concepts, even ones that weren't from India. He also was well read and full of knowledge of all of these different conceptions. So also learned authorities like Acharya Shankar and others in our country long ago preserved the same line of thought through their schools of ardent followers. All of these thinkers consider the variety of the visible world within its external coverings and the soul within the body to be one and the same. Somehow they've missed Bhagavad Gita. Somehow they've missed Srimad Bhagavatam. Somehow they've missed all of the discussions about the eternal, transcendental, individual soul and the eternal, transcendental, individual super soul. Mamaivangsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. They've missed this point. or neglected it, or rejected it, or attributed to those terminologies that this is illusion, whereas our concept is not illusion. That in itself makes you scratch your head and think, wait a second, you're saying everything is illusion. Well, maybe your concept is also illusion. You would have to acknowledge that as well. If you were saying it's illusion, so then you have no ground to stand on. Why are you spouting any philosophy? It's illusion from your perspective. So it kind of undoes itself. It undoes itself. And also those who are preaching that everything, the goal of everything is nothing, then what's the purpose of hearing any of it? It doesn't really matter. Then your whole process, in essence, is nothing. So why should I entertain it or hear from it? So they consider the visible world with its external energies and the soul within the body to be one and the same. In other words, they're saying it's all mundane, it's all material, and then ultimately it's just illusion. Although they admit that variety has its place in matters concerning the personality of Godhead, their incomplete understanding nevertheless leads them to introduce the doctrine of oneness even within the topic of the Supersoul. Shruti mantras like Dva Suparna explain the nature of the Supersoul in such a way as to impart inner vision to persons bewildered by the external coverings of matter. Dva means two. So these conceptions are endeavoring to impart to those who have this singular oneness mindset to understand that there is more than just the oneness concept. There is also transcendental duality. When the variety inherent in the concept of the eternal soul is replaced with mere renunciation of matter, a dulled understanding arises in which perception of the infallible truth is only theoretically proposed. It's big language, so you have to bear with me. I know that many of you are in different countries around the world or from different countries, and English is not your first language. This English that he's using here is also not my first language. So if we can somehow understand the moods, the concepts, this is important for us. We might not be able to understand the exact wording, but the mood, the intent of the author, this should impress itself within our hearts. Like our Srila Gurudev, he would tell us some things. He would go through Manashiksha in 2 days. And then he would say, now that you understand the proper mood, now you can enter into that scripture, study it and read it with the proper mood that I have given you. He wanted us to be able to receive something of what he was giving, to digest it, and then he would ask us, in your own words, tell what it means to you. So he didn't want us to just repeat it as an exact memorization, like a parrot. Lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. You know how we would do that. As a memorization, were we connecting to the meaning, to the depth of its meaning? Where there's something which is digesting inside. So he would always say, in your own words, what does this mean to you? And so that is a calling for the individual to make the endeavor to try to understand the concepts, to meditate on it, to think about it, to look at it from varied perspectives, to bring in appropriate verses which help to establish that point or that tattva, and then to present it. In a sense, becoming one with those conceptions or making those conceptions ours. That this is mine. I am part of this. Now, I don't like this term, becoming one, but instead of something which is like, oh, it's that thing over there. No, this should become part of my heart. I should embrace this thing, hold it deeply inside me, Just like, okay. If anyone is interested in any actor or any famous person, generally they follow quite closely what that actor or famous person is doing. And they know all about them. They can tell the gossip of that person at any time of the day, in any conversation with anyone. Oh my God, do you know what they did? They did this, they did that. You become well versed in that subject matter that you absorb yourself in. So in a similar way, our Gurudev wanted us to become well versed in the subject matters that, and as he would say, I want you to be well versed in all subjects so that I can call on you anytime. You should be ready to speak on any subject at any time I call you. So that was quite a frightening prospect back in the day. But anyhow, he wanted that from us. Not just us, all of us. So when in the course of studying the concept of the personality of Godhead, there is discussion of the non-liberated condition. Oops, I missed something. When the variety inherent in the concept of the eternal soul is replaced with mere renunciation of matter, a dulled understanding arises in which perception of the infallible truth is only theoretically proposed, while the fallible qualities of matter continue their proud march. So they're including all things, including the soul, into the material, so into the mundane conception. And so this mundane conception is continuing its proud march forward, but with the real understanding of the true nature of the soul, this concept becomes dulled. When in the course of studying the concept of the personality of Godhead, there is discussion of the non-liberated condition, then the differences and variety inherent in the supersoul become threatened. When the understanding of the personality of Godhead avoids being bound by the explanation that the absolute truth is impotent, then matter, the Supreme Person, and everything else can be seen in the light of variegatedness. So here he's warning about those who, in the name of speaking about the personality of Godhead, are putting focus on the non-differentiated aspect. Basically, you may go for some Katha, you may listen to some Katha from anyone, and they will have a leaning toward the oneness conception. He says, then the differences and variety inherent in the supersoul become threatened. You will start to see it all as one. You won't see the multifarious aspects of the Supreme Soul. When the understanding of the personality of Godhead avoids being bound by the explanation that the absolute truth is impotent. In other words, when someone is not saying that the absolute truth is impotent, when they understand that he's a personality and he is Sarva Shaktiman, the supremely potent personality, with all rasas and all infinite variety, then matter, the Supreme Person, and everything else can be seen in the light of variegatedness. Then the understanding of the spiritual and material energies impartially dispels the idea that the Supreme is an impotent entity devoid of energies. Let me read that one sentence again. It's important. One, because it's also difficult for me. So I'm meditating on these ideas. I'm going back in and then I'm sharing this. This is important for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada to reveal this to us before we enter into the pastimes of the Lord. And apparently, we need to hear this because somewhere deep down inside we have entertained this idea. Maybe not in this life, maybe in this life, but definitely in thousands of previous lives or millions even. We've entertained these conceptions. And so, with the sword of transcendental knowledge, he is cutting our misconceptions and establishing the absolute reality. Sagunam nirgunam tattvam. That all are there. All conceptions are there. Yes, without any material attributes, but full of all transcendental attributes. And it is supreme, it is divine, it is eternal. And you cannot remove that from the Supreme Lord. You can also not remove that from the individual soul, and you cannot remove that from the Supreme or Super Soul. Because they are also eternal, transcendental, indivisible. You cannot, what is it? Krishna says, Na jayate mriyate vakadachin. It is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, undying, primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. If you remove everything else, that part that remains as it is, unchangeable, immutable, that is the imperishable soul. And the soul is eternal, sanatan, like the Lord. But the difference is, he is vibhu. Vibhu means infinite. And we are called vibhinangsa, infinitesimal, super small. Super small. And yet, we have an intrinsic, inherent, individual nature. One, Krishna Nitya Das. We are eternal servants of the Lord. And, what is it? Jivera Surpahoy Krishna Nitya Das, Krishna Tata Shakti Bheda Abheda Prakash. All individual jivas are of Krishna's marginal potency. They are Krishna's marginal potency. And they are considered at the same time different and non-different from Bhagavan. So this is the concept that we're discussing right now. You cannot separate any individual jiva from the Supreme Soul. We are eternal parts, as I already quoted, Mama eva angsa jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. My eternal fragmented parts and parcels. But nothing has any separate existence, independent existence from the Lord. There would be no meaning to it. It's not possible. There's nothing, not one particle in all of creation that has any movement or anything without the sanction of the Lord. So the jiva cannot be separated from Bhagavan, and yet it has its own intrinsic individual nature. And not only is that nature known as servant, it's not a blank sheet of paper that you get some kind of certificate. Oh, you're qualified to be a servant as a doctor. Next, oh, now you're qualified to be a servant as a washerman. Next, it's already inherently individual within the Atma, and we've discussed this many, many times previously. Not just in millions of lives, during 4 millions of lives. Our Gurudev said, in our sojourn through our material existence, there is not one sin that we have not committed millions of times over. Because Nitya Badha Jiva, we have been bound in the external energy in the material world since time without beginning. Meaning there is no, as far back in time as you can go, you cannot find that we have not been bound. This is called Nitya Badha, eternally bound. We have been in that situation since forever. And in forever, that's a long time. 8,400,000 species of life would go by in a blip of an eye. One little blink. Again and again and again and again. Everything that could have been done has been done. All activities, all experiences, all sinful activities, millions of times over again. And also, going from the lower planetary systems to the higher, to the lower again, and maybe even touching on this concept, because we would invariably have desired to become free from the dualities, free from suffering, free from the Sita Atapa Bata Barishana Edina Jamini Jagire. All of those variables which we would have understood at so many points in our existence are the reason for our suffering. Ateva Maya Tare Deya Sangsara Duk. We have been captured by Maya. And being captured by this Maya or illusion, we are experiencing suffering in samsara, in this endless repetition of birth, disease, old age, and death, experiencing adhyatmic, adhibautic, adhidaivik miseries, and little bits of flickering happiness here and there. Chapala Sukha, as Govinda Das Kaviraj tells in the Bhajan Bhajahure Mana. Chapala Sukha Labalagire. Working so hard day and night in the wind, in the rain, in the heat, in the cold, and all of these difficult situations. For what purpose? Oh, little bit of flickering pleasure. Something that comes here or there. But, according to Jaya Dharma, because this material world is like a cosmic balancing act, to the degree that we enjoy, to that degree we will have to suffer. As I've told before, there is a secret to the secret that the people of the secret don't know. If you put a call out into the universe and you receive your desire, because yes, we can fulfill our desires by having desires, there is a side effect that comes from that. And that part they haven't discussed. All of my desires can be fulfilled. Sure. I can live happily. I can have so much sense gratification, so much wealth, so much health, so much beauty, so many good things, and all of this material happiness. But the other side hits, the cosmic balancing act, to the extent that I have enjoyed, in essence, indirectly taking advantage of others. To that extent, I will have to suffer. When we go to the supermarket and purchase some food, do we know where that came from? How many insects were killed in the process of growing that? How many people struggled in the hot sun, making pennies a day to process, pick, and manufacture that produce? How much harm have we done to the environment through all of the transportation that produce has gone through, the refrigeration, the plastic, all of the packaging? How many aquatics were affected? How much karma is involved in everything? One little thing. One small little thing. And it is bound in so much karma. That is the nature of this material world. So to the extent that I enjoy, to that extent I will suffer. So naturally, we will one day realize, wait a second. I'm struggling to enjoy, and the result is suffering. So let me not struggle for that, so I don't get that. So instead of this, you see this sine wave graph, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's too much. It's too distressing. Let's cut it down a little bit. Let's make it like this. Let's make it, there we go. That's peace. That's what happens when one is going toward this oneness idea. It's in essence a flat line, right? Beep, beep. Your heart is doing its thing, and then boop. Oh, now I don't need to experience anything. Our Param Gurudev said this idea of Brahmanand. He said it is simply illusion, because you're not experiencing individuality. So what are you going to experience? In essence, if your tongue was made of sugar and I gave you sugar, what would you taste? Nothing. So if you are one with that, then what are you experiencing? He said this idea of Brahmanand is simply illusion. I was shocked to read it, but it makes perfect sense. If your idea is to become one or to merge with something, a singular thing, and you are that and that is you, then what are you going to taste? The idea that you're going to experience Ananda in that, the idea of that is illusion, Param Gurudev says. So, You come to this flat line and they think, oh, this is perfection. But all of this, up and down, this is all within the material world. And then you just come up to that flat line and they think this is perfection. But Krishna says beyond this material world, there's another a superior, transcendental, divine realm. It is beyond the material realm. And that is eternal. It is self-luminous. It is full of bliss. It is full of happiness. Sat Chit Ananda. And we hear about that in Sri Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpavriksha lakshavrateshu surabhiru abhipalayantam lakshmi sahasra shatasambrama sevyamaram govindamadi purusham damaham bhajami. And the one near the end, can't remember what verse number that is. Shriya kantaha kanta parama purusha kalpataravo Druma bhumish chintamani ganamayi toyam amritam kata ganam natyam gamanamapi vangshi priyasaki chidanandam jyoti paramapi tarasvajamapi cha sayatra kshirabdhi shrabati surabhibhyascha sumahan nimeshadakyo vavrajati nahi yatrapi shamaya. It keeps going. Bhaje svetat dvipam tamahmiha golokamitiyam. Oh my God. So, these verses are telling that it is transcendental. It is the realm where every word is a song, every step is a dance. The flute is Krishna's dearest Sakhi, Mangshi Priya Sakhi. The gopis are jealous of that flute. Hey, you're taking that nectar which is meant for our lips, you're taking that. How is it that that empty piece of bamboo, what kind of austerities did he perform and did his parents perform that he would be able to be the recipient of the nectar of Krishna's lips? Everything is conscious. Conscious of what? You know this word in Sat Chit Ananda, that chit is conscious. What is that? Conscious. It is made of love and affection. It is aware. Every particle, Chid Ananda, every particle of dust of Vrindavan, every tree, every creeper, every insect, every flower, every animal, every personality, Jamuna herself, Govardhan, every stone, everything is conscious and made of love for Krishna. And everything is capable of fulfilling any desire of anyone. And there, only one desire is there for everyone. What is favorable? What is beneficial for the happiness, the pleasure, the satisfaction of Krishna? So it's all one pointed to Krishna. That's a completely different realm than this. So coming to that point of singularity is devoid of the nature of the soul. In other words, the soul cannot find its real satisfaction there. It can never find its satisfaction there because it is devoid of service. And this nature of the soul is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das. All jivas are the eternal servants of Krishna, meant to serve Krishna eternally. And so in that state, there's no service to Krishna. And so when Krishna says in Bhagavatam, whenever I offer this sayujya, merging, mukti, to any of my devotee, they will never accept it. Never and never. Let me just check here. The reality of the Supersoul includes Sri Lakshmi Narayan, their servants, their throne, and other paraphernalia. When they appear in a localized representation, assuming their deity form with the appearance of material qualities. Okay, I want to stay in that sweet note right now. It is 8 o'clock here. And we were just talking about Vrindavan and the transcendental nature of the spiritual realm, which is beyond any material consideration. There, all jivas are experiencing Sat, eternality, Chit, transcendental knowledge, their relationship, love and affection with Krishna and with all others, and Ananda, bliss, happiness, love and affection. In this material world, those same jivas being covered by the material energy, which is quite an amazing thing because they are still transcendental and superior to the material energy. So this is only possible, our Srila Gurudev said, by Krishna's power to make the impossible possible. What is the Sanskrit for that? First person to get it will receive paneer pakoras with tomato chutney. Okay, let's see. I'm waiting for the term. Only by Krishna's power to make the impossible possible is it possible for the superior energy, jivas, to be covered by the material energy. Only by that potency. Because Gurudev said it's a very strange thing, very interesting thing. And those particular natures, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, are experienced pervertedly in this material world as Asat. That means there's a beginning and there's an end, birth and death. Achit means relationships which are also not eternal, which are not made of pure love but are conditional, which have their beginning and their end. And Nirananda. Nir-ananda means the opposite of ananda, which is transcendental bliss based on loving service to the Lord. Here we experience nirananda, or endless strife, suffering, difficulties. This is the nature of the material world and the experiences that we get in this material world. And so all jivas who enter into their eternal transcendental loving relationship with the Lord will be also experiencing their own nature, which is Sat, Chit, Ananda. And that is also the nature of the Lord. The only difference is ours is infinitesimal, His is infinite. We are always dependent upon Him. We always require to be sheltered, and He is always independent, and He is the giver. He is the shelter, the supreme shelter of everyone. Page number in the book, XVI, that is 16. I was waiting for Keshava Priya to write that down. Devaki got it. Let's see, did Keshava Priya get it? Good. Okay. So on this very sweet note, discussing the Satchidananda Rupam, Namamishwaram, Satchidananda Rupam, Lasat Kundalam, Gokule Vrajamanam, Yashoda Bhiyolu Kaladhavamanam, Paramrishtamatyan Tato Drutya Gopya. So on the sweet note, remembering the transcendental nature, the superior and eternal nature of the divine realm, the spiritual world. What is beyond nirvana? What is beyond liberation? Beyond even Vaikuntha. But still, it is the realm beyond this material existence and beyond this nirvana or liberation aspect. This is the sweet note to leave off on, and we will finish here today. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. Sri Caitanya Bhagavat ki Jai. So we haven't quite entered into Chaitanya Bhagavat yet, but
This is the hard part.
this is the necessary part. The part that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada wants to really impress within us, that we don't have a mundane conception of the Lord and His pastimes or His associates, especially when the Lord manifests those pastimes here in this world,
In His most hidden incarnation.
in His most hidden incarnation. Right? He's hidden. So this is a special time. In Kali Yuga, it is known, this time is known as Tri Yuga, because it is not seen that the Lord has directly manifested in Kali Yuga, because He's taken the form of His own devotee. So it's a hidden way. This is a very special, special manifestation who comes very rarely. Samarpayitum. So Sri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. I can't wait to meet with you also. Are you cooking, Devaki? They make the best gulab jamuns.
Everything.
And everything else. Okay. Oh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Go to Hari Bol. Those medications the dentist gave her must be making her feel really good. She was dancing. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patik Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki jai, Adharam Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Shri Abhiram Thakur ki jai, Nityananda Mahāmahotsav ki jai. Govinda to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and our Guru Varga. So happy to have entered into the introduction to Sri Caitanya Bhagavat with all of you. Also, we'd like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe
Actually,
Radhe.
it's one devotee in Switzerland carved it out part of a tree. It's
What does it say? What does it say?
Sri Guru.
Ah.
Oh, you were asking them. Okay,
Shri.
go.
So, Shri Radha Vinu Bihari Ju Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki
Jai.
Jai. Radhe Radhe.
Jiviriyamu Dumane. Astamanyana Kalmilenge.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Dr.
Your
Morgan.
mother and
Sham.
sister were there.
Hey Lavang. Hey
Dr.
Mom.
Morgan, did I pronounce that correctly?
Radhe Radhe, dear Vaishnavas.
Maashita.